Hello, and thank you for joining us. A judge has denied bail for the suspect charged with murder over last week's fatal shooting of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Luigi Mangione was arrested and arraigned Monday in Pennsylvania after being spotted by civilians at a McDonald's. The 26-year-old was taken into custody and initially charged with unrelated gun crimes in the state. He was in court Tuesday for his extradition hearing to New York, where he now faces a number of charges, including murder in the second degree and criminal possession of a weapon. Mangione is fighting his extradition. We're also learning more information about Mangione and what police say they found on him when he was arrested. Sources tell CBS News police are pointing to 3 pages of handwritten notes criticizing the U.S. healthcare system that were found on the former Ivy League student as his claim of responsibility. CBS News correspondent Lilia Luciano has more on his court appearance.
It was remarkable. He walked in confident. At times he seemed defiant. He was looking around. He kept looking back. And a couple of times I felt like he was making eye contact. He was very communicative with his attorney. At some points he even laughed. He nodded. He swiveled in his chair. But let me tell you this. That was inside the courtroom. Outside, when he got there, it was a far more dramatic demeanor.
And completely out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
Luigi Mangione shouted and struggled with police as he arrived for his extradition hearing in Altoona, Pennsylvania today. Inside the courtroom, Mangione was calm but defiant, sitting at the defense table, quietly mouthing words and mumbling. Police say it appears Mangione went to Pittsburgh and then Altoona after leaving New York, and that he was dodging surveillance using a signal-blocking bag.
You can put your phone in there so we can't track your phone. It doesn't transmit a signal. It blocks the signal. In essence, it's like if you wrapped your phone in aluminum foil and put it in a bag.
The 26-year-old Ivy League grad was arrested yesterday morning after he was spotted eating hash browns at a McDonald's. Police say he started shaking when they were questioning him.
What did they ask him?
They asked him if he had been to New York recently.
And he responded nervously.
He was very nervous.
In addition to finding a 3D printed gun and a silencer similar to the one used in the murder, police say he also had a handwritten 3-page document reading in part, "These parasites simply had it coming," which sources tell CBS News may be an attempt to justify his actions. Altoona police said they've received death threats from people calling Mangione a hero. And NYPD officials say they're concerned that Mangione's actions could inspire wider violence.
There are also posters that we've seen online and in New York with various CEOs' pictures on them. These are perceived threats, and it is important for everybody to know that we will take these threats very seriously.
Mangione hadn't posted on X since June, but he often wrote on social media about a back injury and posted this photo. RJ Martin was a close friend of his in Hawaii.
The only times I noticed when he wasn't being social, I think, was when he was in severe pain. There were times where he would kind of hide out.
So you're saying he was suffering in silence of extreme pain?
That's my understanding.
I notice you're getting emotional. What makes you feel this way?
I just feel heartbroken, somebody that I loved and cared about, that could have done something so hideous.
Anna Schecter joins us now. She's the senior coordinating producer for our CBS News Crime and Public Safety Unit. Anna, just have to ask you right off the bat, what do you make of that behavior and those comments both outside and inside court today?
Well, you saw there he was behaving erratically, unhinged. He was moving around. It seems like he's having like a mental health episode, even playing out on camera that we just watched. So let's see how his defense attorney uses this to play into his defense. He was so calm at times, it appeared, when we're watching the surveillance footage of him just riding his bicycle away from this heinous crime. So this is a real change. Also, the police, the local police who apprehended him said initially he was calm. He did not fight being arrested. And so this is kind of an eruption of sort of movement and like a response, an aggressive response that they didn't see when they apprehended him yesterday.
What more are we learning about him and his life before all this?
A lot. He grew up in Maryland, a part of a wealthy family. He went to a very exclusive private boys' school. then went on to Penn, graduated in 4 years with a master's in engineering. So this is clearly a brilliant person. He worked in San Francisco, and most recently he was in Hawaii in 2022, living as in part of a communal living home. And his friends and associates there said that he was surfing and hiking, but that back pain, debilitating back pain, was affecting his life. He left to get treatment. And so it seems like that is a touch point. And we know from investigators that they are looking at that as a potential shift in his sort of life trajectory that led him to carrying out this crime.
As I mentioned, police are calling these notes found on Mangione a claim of responsibility. What's in them? What do we know so far?
Well, in the handwritten notes, he's railing against the healthcare system and the big corporations that rake in profits and put that above patient care. And he's also specifically names UnitedHealthcare. And so clearly that was a focal point for him. We weren't sure earlier, but once we saw that in that handwritten note, it sort of homes in on motive. He's essentially trying to justify his actions, and you can be sure that prosecutor Alvin Bragg and his team will use that in building their case.
What do we know about why he might be fighting extradition and how the process works now that he is fighting it?
Well, that slows everything down. If he didn't fight it, he could be transported tomorrow by the U.S. Marshal Service back to New York, or even just the NYPD investigators who are there in Altoona. They could just transport him right back to New York. Because he's fighting it, it means he's going to put up a legal fight. This means that Alvin Bragg had to put in a formal request to Governor Hochul to get involved, and Hochul said she would absolutely sign a request to Governor Shapiro to arrange for this extradition. So this is governor to governor. There's a lot of momentum to get this done, so people are fast-tracking this and putting this on the top of their to-do list.
So it may not take the 30 to 45 days.
It may not. It may not, because there's so much momentum to get this done.
Anna Schecter, thanks as always.